buds, how's it going? I am MC, and in this video I'm doing another drawing of a storefront, but this time I'm doing it in color. So as you can see, obviously I did the drawing for this one off camera just because I thought that focusing on the inking and coloring would be a lot more interesting than showing me drawing a bunch of straight lines basically. Which I kind of found that in my video about my trip to Ottawa and drawing the bar, the Gilmore, there was a lot of drawing straight lines, so I kind of just wanted to skip over that part. But anyway, this is a drawing of Wendy's General Store in Paris, Ontario. It's a little convenience store at the end of the main street in Paris, and I just really like the small town, rural shop feeling of the store. It has a dry cleaner attached to it as well, which I would have liked to have included, but I didn't really want to commit to such a large drawing, so I had to crop it down a bit, which also made me have to remove some of the clutter of all the plants that are outside of the shop in my original photo, which I was a little bit bummed about, but I do think I simplified it in an okay way. So Paris in general has become one of mine and my girlfriend's favorite places to go in Ontario. It's about an hour and a half away from us, and we went for the first time last year, and we've been 3 times already this summer, and I wouldn't be surprised if we end up going again before the end of the year. If you're Canadian and you remember that Family Channel show, Life with Derek, which was a great show, if you're not Canadian, the Family Channel is just our version of the Disney Channel. It was a show about a blended family, and there was a part in one of the episodes where the main character Casey is telling her stepdad all about the traveling her dad has to do for work, saying that he goes to London and Paris, and in response her stepdad says, "Well, I've been to London and Paris, Ontario." And that was actually the first time I remember hearing that we had a place here called Paris. But it really does deserve the shout out. It's such a cute little town on the river, and it's very idyllic for sure. Even though, unfortunately, this summer they did dig up the main street to work on the sewers or something, but that didn't ruin our experience at all. The only thing that I missed was that they used to have a little rainbow crosswalk where they had to dig up the road, but I'll put in a very Tumblr-esque picture that I took last year when it was there, and hopefully when they're done with this dig, they'll put that back in. But anyway, the first time we went this summer was in June, and we decided to stay the night in the Arlington Hotel. Which one of the coolest things about that hotel is that all the rooms are named after famous authors, and we got the Agatha Christie room, which was kind of a happy accident because that's actually my girlfriend's favorite author. If I had my choice, I would have picked the Jane Austen or Virginia Woolf room, but it was really cool that we ended up getting one of the best rooms for us personally. And we wanted to stay over this time just so we could take our time and do everything we wanted to do in the town. It's got a couple nice parks that you can walk through. There's a path along the river that you can take to go up to see the little waterfall and the train tracks. All the little shops that have a bunch of locally made products, the market, really great places to get coffee like the Dog-Eared Cafe and Detour Coffee. Which was the toque that I was wearing at the beginning of this video. My coffee order is just a simple cappuccino with an extra shot of espresso, so I can confirm that both of those places have really good tasting coffee at a base level. And I'm not a massive foodie or anything. Food isn't something I usually get super excited about, but all of the food in Paris is amazing. We've been to 2 of the restaurants there, the Cobblestone Pub and Stillwater's. I'm a big fan of a beef dip sandwich, and the Cobblestone has one of the best ones I've ever had. And I think they do have a little patio out back, but one of the big draws for Stillwater is their rooftop patio that has such a nice view looking out over the river, and I show that off a little bit in the montage at the beginning of the video. And of course their food's really good too. I've gotten the steak sandwich and a flatbread pizza from there, and their fries are good, but they also have the option of fresh kettle chips as a side, and I think I'd always recommend getting those. They're amazing. There are some really good places for dessert. We've gotten ice cream from a literal hole in the wall on one of the streets that's called What's the Scoop? And then the shop Chocolate Sensations has really great chocolate covered sponge toffee and fudge. And I think my girlfriend has also gotten their homemade peanut butter cups, which I think were really good also. And then, of course, there's the market that's in the Paris Wincy Mills Co. building. There's a bunch of vendors in there and even more food places, and we've always been so full by the time we've gotten to the market that we've never actually tried the little food vendors that are in there, but I'm really hoping one day I'm not so full that I can actually get to try the grilled cheese place, because that looks really good too, and my girlfriend wants to try the taco place that's in there. We've gotten a few different things from the butcher's counter that's in the market, which is the Link Street Sausage House. We've gotten their breakfast sausage patties and made them to have on egg sandwiches, which were amazing. And then we've gotten their lemon pepper wings multiple times, and I can confidently say that Link Street's chicken wings are the best chicken wings I've ever had. They're so good that they're literally the only chicken wings that I ever want to eat again. I think every time I've had chicken wings, there's been at least a couple gross bites that make me want to turn my nose up at the rest of the plate, but there has been none of that with Link Street's wings. The meat is such good quality, the seasoning is amazing, and they're just perfect, honestly. They're so good, I wish I lived closer just for those wings. But anyway, sorry if I've made you hungry. The other place in the market that I wanted to mention is a shop called Dopamine. In my last video, I showed off and hung up a print in my office that I bought there. I'll put the video up in the info card if you want to go check that out. But it's a cute little shop that's kind of a mix of antiques, thrifted stuff, and locally made prints, greeting cards, pins, stickers, and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, I think I'm done gushing about Paris for now. I have like 29 subscribers, so there's definitely not anyone paying me for anything I've mentioned. Paris is just a really lovely little town, and it deserves the shout out, like I said before. And if you can, you should support local businesses, and obviously, specifically if you're in Canada, especially Canadian businesses. Plan a little day trip, explore a new place. There's probably so much you can enjoy closer to home than you'd expect. But yeah, I will talk a little bit about this drawing now before I say goodbye. So this video is similar to the one that I made about my trip to Ottawa, where I drew a bar there that's called the Gilmore. And that was my first time ever drawing the facade of a building. So this is only my second time ever drawing a building, but this time it was my first time doing it as a color illustration. I do think it's a bit funny that at the beginning of this video I mentioned that I didn't do the base sketch of this drawing on camera because I didn't think that drawing all the straight lines of a building again would be super entertaining. And then doing the line work with my Micron pens, my lines were absolutely not straight. And I actually went into this video feeling really confident about my line work. I felt like I had improved a lot with ink and even just working in graphite, and then I got humbled. But that's one of the things that I found that I like so much about layering the pencil crayons over top of the markers, is that they really help fix the mistakes that I've made with the ink. I've never used any type of colored pencil other than my Prismacolor ones, so I don't know if other brands work similarly to them, or if that just really speaks to the pigment you can get out of a Prismacolor pencil crayon, but I've been really impressed with how well they can cover up even darker colored markers underneath them. They definitely help ease some of the anxiety I can feel working with a permanent medium, which I'm still not 100% used to yet. And for a drawing like this, when I was kind of unimpressed with my line work and didn't think it looked great, because I know what a good job the pencil crayons do, they just help give me that little bit of confidence to push through and know that everything pretty much has the potential to look better after I've used them. And I definitely think that that was the case with this illustration. It's not one of my favorite colored illustrations that I've done so far, but I'm happy with it as a first attempt at drawing a building. And I'm pretty confident that I can improve off of it the next time I want to draw one. This was also the first color illustration that I've done using a photo reference, and I think that was some really good practice for me too. I got to reference some real colors and reference shadows, which is something that I haven't done in color yet. I think the only things that I've drawn in color so far are silly little animals and food, but this has really got me wanting to attempt drawing a human, which is a terrifying thought and very intimidating. But I'm thinking I'd start with a figure study or something, like maybe of a bust, keeping the colors very simple and limited, and just trying to learn how to draw the details of a face without being able to erase as much as I want, or at all. The thought honestly scares me so much. I feel like I'm not ready to draw a human in color, but I also feel like I know that I'll never feel ready, so I'll just have to suck it up at some point, and maybe it's just a little sooner than I thought. I think the only thing that I'm not thrilled about in this illustration is the trees. I think I could figure out a more interesting way to do those in the future. I like how I do the shape and the outline, but just figuring out how to do the shadows and highlights a little bit more interestingly to give them more depth. But everything else, for the most part, I think I would be able to improve on just with time and trying things again, just going with it basically. But the trees are something I think I would have to focus on and try and figure out how I wanted to do them better. But yeah, I think that's all I've got to say for this one. I already have plans for another video like this one that I'll be working on pretty soon, actually, and that one's going to be a little bit different than the two I've done so far, so it'll be exciting to get to work on that in the next few months. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking now, and hope you enjoy the rest of the video. Thank you so much for watching, take care, and you'll see me in the next one.